I wake up paralyzed on my left side. I can't walk, talk, eat food, or drink water.
Oh, shit.
I'm 23 years old. Regional all-star volleyball player in college. 2-time MVP ice hockey player in high school.
Oh.
23 years old. I can't get out of a wheelchair. And needless to say, my life changed.
Yeah.
November 14th.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, the Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Well, Colt,
Yeah.
welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Always liked the name Colt.
Yeah, Colt's a good
Always
name.
been an attractive name for me. Whenever I hear the name Colt, I feel success. I don't know why.
Yeah?
You know the
that
old
weird?
football player?
Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Texan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colt Brennan,
Colt Brennan.
Colton Shore,
Yeah. There's
Colt
not many.
Siebers.
There's not many. It's a short list.
Yeah.
Short list.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strong
Yeah.
strong name though.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bruce.
And Munchoff is German, so it's. I look Nordic, I hope. I'm trying to represent the Germans.
You're doing okay.
The Vikings.
Yeah, you're a big
Yeah.
guy. You're a big
Right.
guy. But you got a little injury. It looks like
Yeah.
you're walking with a limp.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, that's a compliment, actually, because so 31 years ago, November 14th of 1993, I was in my favorite watering hole in Cardiff, California, watching football, and decided to get in my car and go home. I was renting an apartment in La Jolla and went down and got on the 5 freeway, going home, passed my exit by maybe a mile and a half, stopped my car in the fast lane of I-5,
Oh shit.
passed out, stopped, I don't know, and I get hit from behind by a guy going 70 miles an hour. They cut me out of the car, take me to Scripps Hospital. I spend 2 weeks in a coma. I wake up paralyzed on my left side. I can't walk, talk, eat food, or drink water.
Oh shit.
I'm 23 years old. Regional all-star volleyball player in college. 2-time MVP ice hockey player in high school.
Oh.
23 years old. I can't get out of a wheelchair. And needless to say, my life changed.
Yeah.
November 14th.
Pretty drastically.
That was my spiritual experience.
Wow.
And it was the best thing that ever happened.
Wow.
Bar none. Bar none. Like, I can say that with all the confidence and all the certainty. That was the best thing that ever happened to me.
You were by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say it was the best thing that happened to you?
Well, it changed my perspective. It changed my... I realized that I was not invincible because I was 23 in Teflon. I mean, like, I was trained to take, to win, to hurt, to kill, to maim, to destroy, like, what, give, you know, just take. And then I learned that it was better to give than receive. I learned that I was not the one running the show, that it was a very small part of this big picture, and it just changed my perspective amongst many other things. And that's when I got sober. I was 24. Completely changed my life. That was the excuse I needed to get sober. At 23, I was well into my alcoholism, well into it. I mean, daily drinking, seeking lower companions. I mean, it was bad at 23. And so that was the excuse I needed to get sober and change my life. And it really just changed my heart, and it changed the whole trajectory of my life. I had God in my life from boarding school and going to chapel every day, but it was a God of convenience. It was that jackpot lever God swearing off with and without a solemn oath. If you get me out of this one, God, I'll never do it again. I promise, I promise, I promise.
Bam, and then we do it again.
And again and again.
Got to.
You know how many times he's let me out of shit by doing that specific prayer?
Well,
And he's like, all right,
let's see.
all right.
Here's a little more rope.
He knew I wasn't, that I was not, that I was going to continue down the road I was continuing down. He was allowing that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's always perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a sister.
Older, younger?
Younger sister was 7 years younger.
And then before this huge monumental accident, was things like clearly unraveling at the seams prior? Or were you able to hold it together?
No, I mean, I held it together. I was 23. I mean, that's a good question. It was unmanageable, but
But it looked manageable.
I was paying my rent, and I mean, it was by shoestrings. I mean, it was unraveling.
Were
Slowly but
you
surely.
out of college by this time?
Actually, I didn't even graduate from college.
Okay.
I was asked to leave college,
Okay.
and so
Unmanageable.
unmanageable. My drinking had taken me out of college. So this is a great question to someone. If you think you're alcoholic, if your blood alcohol content is more than your GPA, when they ask you to leave college,
Yeah.
you might be an alcoholic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So my blood alcohol, my BAC was 0.32 in the car wreck. And when I was academically suspended from Arizona, it was a 0.3. So I think I had 1D.
The rest F's.
And I don't say that when people watch this, I do not say that as a badge of honor.
Sure.
It was where I was. And I don't consider myself stupid, but I was just living a tough life.
What was a life like before all of this? Before college, high school, family life? You did say somewhere in there that you went to a boarding school.
Yes.
But even before boarding school, how did you end up in boarding school in your early
So
days?
I was born in Minnesota, and my father died when I was really young, two years old. And we ended up moving to Idaho. So I lived in Sun Valley, Idaho, a ski town. And great little town, 8,000 people, small, one stoplight. You know, I had all my friends. There's 3 tall people in our class, Matt Pitcairn, myself, and Holly Bernhagen. And it was the same people from kindergarten through 6th grade in class that all lived up there, locals. And I played hockey because I didn't train for the U.S. ski team. I was not that good of a skier. So if you didn't train for the U.S. ski team, you played hockey. And so we started the hockey program when I was 6 years old. And I fell in love with hockey.
It's a hockey player sitting next to you. Believe it or not,
From Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's right.
Canada.
Yeah, I love you guys. You guys are, Canadian hockey is fantastic. So that was when the U.S. won gold in the Olympics in Lake Placid. That really was a turning point for me to want to become an Olympic hockey player. That was really inspiring in my youth to become an Olympic hockey player. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like, and just bow your head and they raise it. Gold medal, you get on the podium. I mean, that would be amazing, right? And that sort of shifted when I moved to California. By 1984, the U.S. men had won gold in volleyball, and I was now playing volleyball. And so I've always wanted it, like, you know, nothing middle of the road, like gold medal or nothing.
Yeah. Get it.
Extremism. But hockey was an amazing time in my life. I wasn't that. I was a captain, MVP hockey player in Idaho, And then I went to boarding school back east to follow my dream in New York. And I barely made the third line in New York. So it was a little bit different. I wasn't that good. I mean, I was a good hockey player, but not NHL material.
Shane?
It's tough out there, bro. It's tough for anything. How about the volleyball? You're a tall guy. How was that going? How was your jumping? Big guys like you and I, we don't have good verticals.
Yeah, well, they call me the vanilla gorilla.
Would say,
I
really?
could leap.
Wow,
Jim. I
good
could
for you.
leap.
The vanilla. I like that. Never heard that before. That was a good one.
I could.
I'm going to start calling you that.
The vanilla gorilla.
I could jump pretty good.
Wow.
I mean, and well, so what happened is they taught me how to play volleyball when I moved here when I was 15 to Southern California from Idaho. They taught me how to play volleyball on the beach in Emerald Bay.
Yep.
And so you're playing on the beach, and it's really deep sand in Laguna, deep sand. So I'm playing on the beach, and I'm like learning, get better from court 3 to court 2 to court 1. Now I'm playing on court 1. I'm decent, and go to college, and I'm at University of Arizona, and they have a volleyball team there, and it's club, not D1. And so I walked onto the volleyball team there, but it's indoor. And I'm like, whoa, I could hit a ball straight down on the beach in the sand. Then I got to the indoors with a gym floor with some spring. I'm like, whoa, this is way better indoors. And so I started playing indoor, and we actually it was a lot. Most of the team was from Orange County, Newport Harbor, CDM. We had one, our setter was from Tucson, but so then I fell in love with volleyball and followed that then I was going to be, AVP volleyball, and it was Side Out and St. John Smith and Stowe Close and these dreams. I'm a dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
When did drinking start?
Young, and probably pot first in Idaho. Early, 8 or 10, or not having a father, it was pretty easy to con my mom. My best friend, he didn't have a dad. My other buddy who lived upstairs, he didn't have a dad. So we were just renegades and recluse. We were running amok at a young age. I don't know how I made it. It's amazing that I lived through all that experience. It's not amazing. It's by the grace of God am I here, and that I even have a chance.
It's a pretty big kick in the ass getting hit in a car going 70 miles an hour from God. I'm just saying, it's a pretty big kick in the ass to change the steerage of your, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's a pretty hard thing.
Now you say to get hit in a car 70 miles an hour by God. How do you know it was by God?
Well, just because, like you said, it was a learning experience for you, changed the course of your life. So I just assumed that you took it as
that's a very good assumption. It's a very good assumption because when I was... So the story gets, there's all these gems of good things that come out of that experience. So when I'm writing the story for the newspaper, because they'd heard about what I was doing, and I'll get into that, but I'm writing the story about the evening of the accident, and I'm reading the police report, and it says Mr. Munchoff was driving on I-5, parked his car in the fast lane, and he's the P1 is what they call it, is primary one, P1 vehicle. So P1 was parked in the fast lane. P2 was driving at 70 miles an hour and, rear-ended Mr. Munchoff. And as I'm writing this down, the gentleman who hit me was Jesus Sandoval, who was driving lost baggage from Orange County down to San Diego. So I'm writing this story out in the thing for the paper, and I'm like, Jesus Sandoval hits Mr. Jesus, Jesus. Oh, Jesus literally drove into my car at 70 miles an hour. I had known it was a spiritual experience prior to that because of all these wonderful things that started to come out about it. And one of the things was the proportionality that I gained from that experience. Like, I never knew how tall I was till I couldn't stand up. I never realized how tall I was till the first day I stood up out of the wheelchair. It never even dawned on me. I'm like, whoa, because I was scared to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole proportion just changed. Everything changed in an instant. And then they taught me how to eat food and drink water and talk. And I'd been a taker this whole first 23 years of my life. And all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, it is better to give than receive. Because these people are teaching me how to talk and eat food and drink water. And they're giving of themselves, and they're teaching me how to walk. And then I got into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they said, we practice these principles in all our affairs. We work with other people. You got to give it away to keep it. And so I'm like, well, it really is better to give than receive.
Had you gone to any AA or any type of recovery prior to this accident, or not?
Had not
at
been
all?
to a meeting at all. Had not been to a meeting at all, and knew of AA, but never court sentence, never.
Had anybody like girlfriends, friends, volleyball teammates hit you up and be like, bro, you're kind of out of control. Maybe you should slow down a little bit prior to the accident?
Oh yeah. There have been plenty of people that have mentioned my excessive
So you knew it was
behavior.
a problem.
I knew it was a problem.
Yeah.
I knew it was a problem.
When you woke up from your coma, because you said you were in a coma for 12 days, I mean, that's really significant. That's a lot to all of a sudden go out one night and you have your life, and then the next thing you realize is you're waking up in a hospital bed, and now you can't feel an entire side of your body, and you're essentially paralyzed. Walk us through like that mental struggle, because I feel I would very much want to end my life there.
Yeah, and somebody else asked me that question similar to that, because what happened for me is when I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay. Whew. I'm alive. And then I couldn't use my left side. I was completely paralyzed. And then they go around the room and they go, Colt, this is, it was the clinical nurse specialist, and she said, Cheryl Wooten. She says, you've been in an accident, you're in Scripps Hospital. They kind of give you where you are. They back you out, like, here's where you are, here's what's happened. This is your mom. If you know who she is, blink once for yes, blink twice for no. And then they go around the room, and my stepfather was there. A good friend of mine, Nancy Kurji, was there. My good friend Pepper was there. Matt Perry, there were several people in the room. And they kind of go around the room, and they have no idea what like a brain injury is. This is 1993.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to today, 31 years later, they're very, very good about head trauma, about recovery, about what to do with CTE, with brain injury, with head trauma, with wounded warriors. 1993, it was early on. This is back kind of before head trauma was even...
Mm-hmm.
They knew what it was. So they go around, they're introducing people. And I just remember like, yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah. And they were talking to me how I remember it. And this could be because of me waking up from the coma, coming out of a drug-induced coma. But I remember them being like, Colt, this is your mom. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so... there was just this awakening in my mind, and I couldn't talk, so I was alone. But then I had these experiences pretty quickly on, like in the first couple of days, where one of the first memories I had, I couldn't eat food or drink water, so I'm starving to eat, and I want to have water. So I'm out of the coma, and they put you up under the whatever 6th floor recovery unit, step down unit, and I had a roommate, John. John could eat food. John had rolled his truck on Camp Pendleton, and they found him 24 hours later. And I remember the doctor saying to me, John is lucky that the coyotes didn't eat him. I mean, he was there 24 hours. He is lucky that he did not get eaten by the coyotes. Now, they'd bring in pancakes and bacon to John every single morning. I'm, 10 feet away with a feeding tube in my nose, and bacon is wafting through the room. And I'm like, and I said very vividly, oh, God, this is really not cool. I don't appreciate your humor. I don't find this funny. You might have made a mistake here. I think this is, you might be off. Well, John's eating his breakfast, and his wife and kids come in, and the therapist goes, John, this is your wife. Blink once for yes, blink twice for no. John, this is your wife. John, this is your wife. John, this is your kids. He had no idea who his wife, who his kids. And I'm watching this, and I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I know where I am. I know what happened. I know my situation. I know that I have a chance to get better. And John has no idea where he is. Yeah. And I'm like,
but he could eat bacon.
But he could eat bacon. And it was like, right away, I'm like, you know what? I'll take the hand that I was dealt.
Fuck the bacon.
I'll take the hand that I was dealt. I do not need the bacon. I'll take the feeding tube and know where I am.
No offense, but was John faking it maybe? Maybe he didn't have a good relationship with the wife and kid. Who knows? Maybe he just figured, let's go with the accident. I have a TBI. Let's make the best out of it. Let's just get out of this while I can.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, we never know.
Well, we now know what Shane would do if he all of a sudden...
Right?
Yeah.
Who the hell are you guys?
Shane, this is your wife.
Yeah. Next. Bring in like 12. I'll make a decision. What?
But those experiences really started to... I had these accelerated God shots early and often.
Well, of course they were accelerated, bro. You were half dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's only one place to go from where I was. No, it's up.
That's it. Well, it's not a far fall from where you are.
No.
It's
not. I mean, you're
right there.
You're
right there.
You are at the doorstep.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How long were you in the hospital recovering for before you actually were let out?
It was probably 45 days. I mean, the sad thing is with an injury like that, once you can eat food and drink water, it's once you can swallow food to not choke, to aspirate, and drink water so you don't aspirate and get liquid in your lungs, and you can transfer from a wheelchair out of the shower
to the bed and that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can void, which is pee. So you can get all the urine out of your bladder, so you don't get a bladder infection. Oh. Once you don't get a bladder infection, once you don't get pneumonia, and once you're not going to fall, you're gone. And so they really don't.
Then physiotherapy's a bitch. It's hard, bro. I just did a finger on physiotherapy. I didn't want to show up.
Really?
No, hell, who does?
Yeah. See,
I had months of physiotherapy.
Yeah, and so. What happened is I was like, okay. Well, first so I didn't move for however long it was, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it was. And then one day I was able to move my leg. And I remember when my mom came down, I had moved my leg, and she came down, and she's sitting there on the bed, and I'm like, Mom. And I talk now, and you can kind of hear it in my voice. If you're a trained therapist, you might know that I had some sort of injury. Like I sometimes slur my words or speak, I don't enunciate very well, but if you were trained. Now, my mom's sitting there and I'm like, Mom. And she comes, she's like, what? And I'm like, and I probably talked really low. And I like lifted my leg up in the corner and she's like, oh my God, So like once I moved, like I knew that I had hope. And then I go, you know what? I want to recover. I'm going to do this. I want to become the poster boy for recovery. I'm going to play AVP volleyball. I want to be this poster boy for recovery. I'm going to be the hero. Save the day, like some movie.
Yeah.
And so I took it as a challenge. And that was 31 years ago.
You really have to take it as a challenge. Otherwise, you go down the other rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, remember we had your friend on from your gym? And
Adolfo.
yeah.
Bless you.
I know Adolfo.
You know Adolfo?
Totally. I used to train with him.
Yeah.
Dancer in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Like there are people that have way worse situations than I have. I mean, like I wouldn't trade with him. He probably wouldn't trade with me.
He said for a long time, I just was, as you were talking right now, it just reminded me of one of the things he said. He said for a long time, he used to always, he had hope that he would walk again. Then he tried everything, he said, from like even buying magnets off the internet and sleeping on them and all this stuff. And finally he, at a point has accepted the fact that he's not going to ever walk again.
Right.
But he's found other things in his life that have, give him the same satisfaction. I think it was shortly after that is when he started his bodybuilding career.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
It's true. Yeah.
So nice. Adolfo. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's an amazing man. I used to train with him at the gym. I mean, not with him, but he was at the same gym. And I'm like, dude, you're a bodybuilder? Come on. Come on, man. Really? So I have a huge appreciation for people in wheelchairs because I was in one.
Yeah.
For how long?
I mean, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 4 months, something like that. I mean, I went to my first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous in a wheelchair in Newport Beach at Shark Island. And they go around the room and you say your name. And so I'd never said Colt Alcoholic. And they're going around the room and there's 100 people in there. And I'm like, whoa, I'm going to have to, something's going to have to happen here. We're going to either, well, what do you say, right? You're like, It's the moment of truth. And so I said, Colt Alcoholic. Well, there's this immediate wave of release of energy, like, I'm an alcoholic. Then they read a portion of chapter 5, and it says, we are like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. And the guy sitting next to me is in a wheelchair. Happiest guy in the world that I've seen in a wheelchair. And he's like, hey, bro, you got to come skiing with us up in Big Bear. I'm the handicap ski school teacher. And I'm like, whoa, dude, pump the brakes. Handicap ski school. Whoa. Do not use the word handicap and talk to me. And I look down and he has one leg. And I'm like I spent the first 30 seconds of my life in Alcoholics Anonymous, ungrateful. And then I saw this guy. I think his name was Chris. And then I found out just recently he got drunk up in like Sacramento, Northern California, and fell asleep on the train tracks and lost his leg.
Lost his other leg.
That was how he.
No, that's how he lost the first
one.
leg.
Yeah. I thought he went back for seconds.
We had a.
I mean, I did. I mean,
Yeah, most of us do. Then we had that girl lost her legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you started your AA journey there, and
At 24.
and you maintained 16 years before.
16. So, got married, had a career, thriving career. So, and I've realized I've learned this recently too. which all makes sense. My disability is my superhero strength. Like, that's what makes me who I am. It's not a defect of character. It's an asset. My disability is my asset. It's my greatest asset. And that goes through business. It goes through my charity work. It goes through, it's my best asset. My greatest asset is my disability, bar none. Like the accident, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because it made me who I am. It changed my whole attitude and outlook on life. Like, I'm just stoked to wake up and not be in a coma and not have someone with a feeding tube in my nose and have, I remember, very clearly know where I could be. I'm reminded every day. I literally have to think about every step I take. I don't know who the nice young lady was that brought me upstairs, but she probably waited 5 minutes at the top of the stairs. And so I learned that when I slow down, God speeds up.
Yeah.
I like how you cracked yourself up about that though. That's like a gift, man.
Well, it's funny because I didn't used to laugh like that. That's part of the head injury. Like, I have this short circuit. Like, I start laughing at my own jokes before everybody else. And then people are like, I don't know what the fuck he said, but whatever he said, it must have been funny. He's laughing.
There's nothing better to me, I think,
Yeah,
than
I
somebody
think
who
so,
laughs
too.
at themselves, though,
Yeah.
man. I crack myself up more than anybody, and half the time I think people are only laughing because I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Well,
So I like that.
I'm definitely the funniest guy I know, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I can't tell a joke. Like, I'll be at the punchline and be, what the fuck did you say? They're like, woo.
You could actually just do a whole fucking comedy bit doing that shit. Get up to a 5-minute
Seriously.
comedy bit on stage.
And that's the punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so one of the best things that came out of that whole experience was that I was raised by my mom. My father passed away when I was young, like I said. So my mom was a caterer, and she taught me how to cook. And so I started cooking when I was 8 and love cooking. Grandma was a cook, owned a restaurant, and I love cooking, and I love eating, and food is really, that's my artistic expression, is food. So first year of recovery, I was 24 then, and I'm like, wow, I'm in trouble. Like, I don't have a college degree, no career. I've done cooking, been to culinary school, worked in the kitchen, food serving, and construction. All physical labor.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to be doing much physical labor as you're learning how to walk again and have limited use of your left side. And so I was a nanny for a really good friend of mine down in San Diego. And I was helping her out with the kids, and I started making food and doing things, and I go, oh, what if I became the Emeril Lagasse of handicap cooking, and I started to teach people how to cook with one hand? I could sell videos and earn a living. And so I started on this crusade to teach adaptive cooking in San Diego, and I started going around Scripps Hospital, started going around, there's no, there's a few now, but there's not many one-handed chefs out there. Mm-hmm. Like, I cook better with one hand than most people do it too. And that's not a joke. I love cooking, and I manage in the kitchen very well. But there's all this adaptive equipment that I've found and used. And I'm like, well, there's a huge population of people. Mm-hmm. Brain injury, amputee, stroke, birth defects, MS. What do these people do? What do they do if they can't cook anyway? And so there's all these tools and gadgets and things, and I'm like, I could be the Emerald Lagasse of handicap cooking, and that could be my deal. And so I started, and then I was like, I'll be on TV, I'll make millions. Celebrity show. So I've been doing that volunteer work for 31 years. I have not made a penny. I've taught hundreds and hundreds of kids, classes in San Diego, classes in Cyprus. Brain injuries, stroke, wheelchairs. I tried out for Top Chef probably 4 years ago. Thought I would go on and do a Top Chef, compete against able-bodied people. But, you know, all these things, they're all funny things. Like, I tried out for Beat Bobby Flay. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about you guys, but I always try and put myself in win-win situations, right? Like where I win. Win-win. Like, I'm not going to lose, right? So I'm like, I could go on and do the Beat Bobby Flay. I'm competing against Bobby Flay with these amazing chefs. And then I'll get in there and I'll fight and scrap. And then they'll be like, Colt, we're sorry. Bobby Flay beat you. And I'd be like, oh, you're proud of yourself, Bobby. You beat a handicapped guy. Okay, great. How do you feel about yourself now? You beat a guy with one hand. Great job, Bobby. Good job. So that has morphed to, I think we're going to go in a different direction. But, I mean, I would compete against able-bodied people. I could. And so I'll get to the Food Channel. The vision now is to go to the Food Channel and do stories where we get people like Adolfo. We go alongside with him and we find out his story and then how he gets along in the kitchen, and find a Marine who lost his arm in Afghanistan and kind of see. So it's got a better personal touch to it. And, you know, but I'm
It sounds like a really good YouTube channel to me.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
For sure.
So that's the vision now, and I mean, it's been a vision for a long time, but I think I don't think there's anybody better suited to take the challenge of carrying the staff of one-armed cooking.
Yeah.
You know, one-handed cooking.
You had mentioned that you had relapsed after 16 years. I wanted to kind of touch on, why do you think that happened? What was going on in your life at the time?
Yeah, so I had chronic pain in my back from the accident, and my marriage was, we'd been married 10 years, and it was, you know, not the greatest. So I had chronic pain in my back, and so I went to the doctor. I said I was 40, and I go, you know, I'm going to get this back issue fixed. And then, of course, they prescribed me Oxy. And I remember taking the first Oxy, and I was like, oh. And it literally took the pain away. The pain was gone. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be okay. And then about 2 weeks later, I was like, you know, 10 milligram Oxy is not quite big enough for a 250-pound guy like me. I mean, really, 10 milligrams? That's not going to quite take that. And so I got off prescription pretty quickly with the Oxys. And at the end, it was, you know, like 120 milligrams a day, chewing them. I mean, I got off prescription. And so then I had compromised my sobriety. I hadn't drank yet, but I'd compromised my sobriety. I knew I'd relapse, but I wasn't going to tell anyone. And then I went through a divorce, and it was ugly. And then, long story short, I ended up drinking. Like, the best way to get off Oxys is vodka to help you come down off them when you're chewing 6 or 8 of them at a time. And so that, you know, but my intention was not to, I'd never taken pills before. Mm-hmm. So my intention was, leading into that, was for the right reasons, that I had chronic pain. I mean, I literally had horrible back pain. Mm-hmm. And so that started the relapse. And then it took me, I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed and so upset that I had relapsed that it took me 10 years to come back.
Shit.
You know, because I was just not willing to tell the truth. And part of the back pain, I now know this, is that when I'm not telling the truth to myself and to my peers and to the world, I carry that on my shoulders. And that weight of the world on my shoulders manifests in back pain. So really it's psychosomatic. So when I got sober this time in December 1st, 2021, 3 years ago yesterday, I had 17 days, and one of the therapists in the class said, "Hey, Colt, I want you to replace your physical pain with emotional pain." And what I heard him say is, you need to tell the truth to people about your sobriety. You have 17 days of sobriety. I don't care if you had 17 years of sobriety, you have 17 days, and you got to tell the people in your life who I got sober with in 1994, and it's now 2021, and nobody knows I've drank in San Diego. The people up here, all my posse, the guys who 12-stepped me, they all knew, but I never admitted that I drank. I never admitted that I needed help. Never admitted, fully conceded to my inner myself that I needed to, be honest with the world. And so that was another liberating experience, just telling the truth about my drinking. And, when I told you it was my birthday and you said, "I'm glad you're back," I mean, not everybody gets a second chance. Or a third chance, in my case. Or probably like a 30th chance.
Sure.
Be more like it for a guy like me.
Yeah.
I've had many, many chances. And I've come out squeaky clean on the it's just a miracle. It's a miracle that I'm even sitting here, that I can talk, that I have a story, that I can share the story and do good in the world. As opposed to being in an institution with a feeding tube, 24-hour care.
Totally.
I mean, there's a lot of people that end up like that, and it's seconds and inches, and that could be me.
Seconds, milliseconds, and millimeters.
Yeah.
So my daughter fell and hit her head off of a golf cart. That's what I was telling Shane about right before the podcast started. It was in Emerald Bay, and she was a kid was, two boys were trying to, they're 16, they're all 16, was trying to, impress his friends and the girls. And he said, "Watch me whip this hoe," something like that. And he was talking about the golf cart. And then he whipped it, and my daughter went flying out the side, landed on her head, cracked her cranial right here, literally millimeters away from dying.
Wow. Seconds and inches. How is she now?
She's doing pretty good. She's back to being a pain in the ass 16-year-old kid.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta tell yourself that every time. You're like,
every time she's
I'm sorry,
every
honey,
time
you're a
she's a
blessing.
and every time she's a pain in the ass, just be like, it's a blessing that you're
Right.
here to be that
you
pain
get
in
to be
the
a
ass.
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because you're not a pain in the ass if you're 6 feet under.
No, 6 feet under, or she was seconds and inches away from death. She was seconds and inches away from having a traumatic brain injury that she wouldn't have been able to come back from.
Right. Yeah. No, a head injury, blow to the head is the second most common injury in the United States.
My sister spent the majority of her nursing career neurotrauma ICU.
What hospital or whereabouts?
UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I pray for those people all the time. I mean, they save lives.
Yeah.
They save lives. And so, my goal is to be on the other end and people that come out that have some issues. And I mean, there's been some of the students in my class, I mean, the stories you hear about these people, just when you just get out of yourself and look at the world has just amazing stories, right? These students, these kids that are in class. I mean, John, I remember John. So John was 18 years old. His carotid artery ruptured, which is the main artery that goes to your brain, that feeds blood and oxygen to your brain. He was 18 years old. His carotid artery ruptured, and so then he had a stroke, and he couldn't speak. I used to pick him up in my 1977 Dodge station wagon and drive him down to Parks and Rec Department from Cardiff, California to downtown San Diego, and we'd teach class, and I'd pick him up I'd have the car filled with bags of food and burners, and we'd go down there, and I'd take him and bring him back. And he couldn't talk. He was nonverbal. And at the end of the 8-week class, I remember his mom came out and he's like, "Okay, well, John, we're done with class." And I just remember him like looking at me, and he just goes, "Thank you." Like he mumbled, "Thank you," and I'm like, oh, I mean, just like he was all there. He just couldn't express himself. And here's this kid that I've been driving around, and experiences like that where you have people that just touch your lives. Like he was an angel, right? And I mean, there's just so many people that I've been blessed to cross paths with that are just angelic in what they bring to this world, Mm-hmm. And I think it's as a result of, Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the framework for the life that I try to lead, which is give back, be of service.
Yeah, what does your sobriety look like today?
So I go to 4 meetings a week, 2 men's meetings, 2 mixed meetings, and then I have 3 commitments at those 4 meetings.
Oh, wow.
So I'm big. So my favorite page in the big book is page 336. And 336 says, "I found everything I ever wanted in Alcoholics Anonymous." I'm paraphrasing, but I found everything I ever wanted in Alcoholics Anonymous. I used to thank God for AA, now I thank AA for God. I found my tribe. And it goes on to the next paragraph, and it says, "You told me if I put Alcoholics Anonymous first in my life, everything that I put second would become first class." And so my sobriety is my number one thing. I have this beautiful girlfriend who I met about 3 months ago on our first date, and I said, "Just so you know, I have a pretty big life in Alcoholics Anonymous, and if I ever drink, run for the hills."
Yeah.
If you see me drink, run away. I said, "I'll try and convince you to stay. Do not stay." And so I put that all out there, and then she asked me one day, she goes, "Why did you tell me that right out of the gate?" And I said, "Well, because if I don't put my cards on the table,
Yeah.
then when would I tell you that?
Totally.
Like on the 3rd date? Or never? Or then you're having a glass of wine?
Mm-hmm.
Or, like it doesn't, so I just need to be honest with the world, and then like, it's funny, like I said, my disability is my superhero strength. So I look like a linebacker in football, right? I never played a down of football in my life, ever. And so people are always like, "Oh, football player hurt your knee, huh?" I'm like, yeah, I used to play for the Colts. So we have this little. We were at a sidewalk sale this weekend, and Zora is my girlfriend's name, and somebody goes, "Yeah, I had you pegged as a." No, I had on my Colts gear. I wear Indianapolis Colts gear, and so I had this shirt on and a hat, and they said it's. So how are the Colts doing? And I said, "Oh, they're horrible. God, they're just horrible this year." And Zora goes, "They were good when you played for them, honey." Yes. So we just roll with it. I mean, because people don't know.
Yeah.
And then you can play it off and, mess with them for a little bit. But
Yeah, I always get confused for a professional basketball player. It just happens every once in a while. Right?
Spud Webb.
Spud Webb, yeah.
Yeah,
Spud Webb.
that's me, baby. 96-inch vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude could jump.
Oh, yeah, over everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
He won the
Slam.
1988, I think,
Yeah.
or 89, 87, 88,
Slam
or
jam or
89
whatever.
slam
Yeah.
dunk contest.
Yeah.
He beat out his teammate Dominique Wilkins,
Dominique Wilkins,
yeah,
that guy could fly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Until Vince Carter came to the game, and then Vince Carter could fly. Who else flew though? Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's the first guy to dunk from the free throw line, I think.
Dr. J.
Dr.
Yeah,
J.
Dr. J.
Okay, Dr. J is the
He
first.
was the original.
Yeah, the
and
original.
Michael, imitated that.
Yep.
Yeah, imitated that jump.
Michael Jordan had a 46-inch vertical jump, and he was like 6'9" or 8.
Yeah, I don't know if he was that tall, but he could leap and hang in the air. He had a lot of hang time, and that guy was one of my heroes too. I mean, I love.
I was busy shooting meth most of his era, so I missed a lot of it. And I'm a basketball guy. Yeah,
I was drinking Bombay Sapphire martinis and
watching the games.
when they were on they had their three-peat.
Yeah.
I watched all that.
Yeah, Chad used to do a hit, put a little tinfoil on his head with 2 little things coming up. He used to watch the game closed circuit. Good fucking times in that closet, right?
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing what you'll do.
The
huh?
little camera looking
Yeah.
under the doors. Shit, are people coming? Where are they? Oh, no.
And then when these things come around,
Oh,
these things are really good. If you get your phone dark, you can see around corners really
Yeah.
quick. See?
Have mercy. Have mercy.
I was a garden variety drunk. I mean, just alcohol was my kind of go-to, and pot, but just drinker.
So what is
Very
life
bright.
now like today? What is your main kind of focus besides, is it giving back for cooking to people that have the disabilities or a TBI and spreading your kind of experience, strength, and hope that life is not over? You can do anything that you still want to do, or
Yeah, I'm super involved in I try and hunt newcomers. Literally try and hunt newcomer men and find new guys that I can work with, because that is the key to my freedom. If I'm thinking about somebody else,
yeah.
I am not thinking about myself. And so my morning routine is real simple. I get up and pray and meditate. I pray on my knees, 3rd and 7th step prayer. And I have a text list of people, and I send out a message that is, I have a little paragraph that I write about the day, what I'm working on for the day, and then it's referenced in the big book, and then a prayer for the day and a gratitude list. And I have like 200 people that I send that out to every day. Every day, 200 people get that message. And so I try and give more than I take. And if my focus is outward on a daily basis, I'm not thinking about myself. And so I figure that if I just do the next indicated step, that God will take care of all the rest, as he's done. literally. And I didn't date anyone for the first year of my sobriety, and it worked so well that I didn't date anyone for 2 years. And then I met this beautiful woman on Labor Day weekend this year, and she's amazing. She's normal, and she's age appropriate. She's well, because there's all this. Orange County is weird.
Yeah.
And she's the perfect person for me to date. She has grown-up kids. We have children the same age. We have a lot of the same likes, and she's my other half. She's my other half of me. Happy, spiritual. She's normal. Like, she'll have a glass of wine, and then not ever two, really. She doesn't like two, and I'm like, that's weird. And just, it's good, and the holiday season, I'm just, if I just live in faith today, I don't need to think about what is going to happen in the future. I just do Monday stuff on Monday. I cannot do Tuesday stuff on Tuesday. I can't do it, and my judgment. I don't judge people like I used to when I first got sober, because I got sober at 24. So I was 16 years sober, and I got sober young, and so I kind of was judgmental to newcomers. And so I go to this men's meeting, and at the podium, and I would say, I want to welcome the newcomers to the meeting. You don't have to do the steps now. You can do them when you come back. Because I was, arrogant. And then I relapsed. So part of my story is, what, Colt? Let's not judge people.
Yeah, God will humble our asses real quick.
We all have our story, and and I got a second chance, and we're all alcoholics, and if we're just trying to stay sober, if you're sober today, you're doing it 100% correct. If you didn't drink today, you're doing whatever you're doing, it's 100% correct. I don't need to tell you what you're doing is wrong, because what you're doing is 100% correct.
Yeah.
If you didn't pick up.
Yep. I didn't.
I didn't either.
Me too.
I mean, it's amazing. I love drinking in the morning. I mean, that's my favorite thing to do.
We don't know if Shane did or not.
I picked my wife up. That I picked up. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The only person I know that can abuse peptides.
I find a way.
Are you like peptides?
I love peptides.
I know. I'm BPC.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
BPC.
157 is the way to go.
Now, I believe you need it. BPC 157 is great by itself, but if you add
TB 500.
TB 500,
Oh, yeah.
If that's called the Wolverine.
The Wolverine, yeah.
Which is basically the thymosin beta and thymosin alpha, right?
Uh,
Or the thymosin beta.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I started that about 6 months ago, and that made my back pain. Like, my back pain was almost gone by being free, and then I got the BPC.
Are you putting it? Let me ask you a question. Are you putting it into the spot where you're hurting?
Bingo.
Oh, you are?
Bingo. Yep.
Nice.
I don't use it systematically. I use it.
Yeah, I use it that way too.
I put it in
Wherever, if I'm hurting and I don't.
Lumbar, yep, my low lumbar, like L345, two shots, one left, one right. I put it on my shoulder. This shoulder does a lot of work because it's the major everything.
Yeah.
And then I work out. I go to the gym a lot, so if I'm mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally healthy, I think that I could be of service.
Oh, for sure. Mind, body, soul. They all got to be in line.
And if I can be of service to God's kids, because I could spend the rest of my life repaying Alcoholics Anonymous for the blessings I have. The rest of my life.
Yeah.
There's 56 million people every single day in America that need treatment, that need help from some type of substance use disorder. Ages 12 and above.
Wow. 56 million.
56 million. And typically in a year, only about 22% of those people actually seek treatment.
So 10 million people, a little more than 10 million people, seek treatment. And of those 10 million people, 1%,
If you're lucky.
stay sober.
Yeah.
There's about 20 million sober or people in recovery. Not everybody does, you know. I lost everything.
Oh yeah. When you lifted up your hand, you did a little magic. It was magic, bro. What'd you
Oh,
say?
yeah, you pulled it out.
Oh yeah, you pulled the thing out. There you go, bro. Oh, you bet.
It wasn't even Lewis's fault.
No. You got pretty
How did
nervous.
that happen?
Animated.
Yeah.
You're animated.
Did I click it?
Thumbed it.
Congratulations to you with everything, and congratulations, happy birthday, your 3-year birthday, making it back. Because like you said, it is a big deal making it back into the rooms because a lot of us don't. We all made it back.
We all
here.
made it back. We're
So,
all
We're fortunate.
retreads.
Yeah.
9 years. I went
gonna-
out.
3 years I went out.
I never went out.
I know. And you're like 25 years sober. So
17.
Yeah, 25, 17.
Give or take.
Wahahaha.
Like I was saying, there's 20 million people
Yeah.
out there that claim to be in recovery, and everybody's recovery is a little bit different.
Yes.
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 Exactly.
So no judgment.
No.
Exactly.
No judgment.
You big Gussick? This Canadian, he looks like a hockey player.
Does he look like a Canadian too?
I'm just.
It's funny how you like said in the beginning that like you like Canadians because for the most part, if he's the representation of Canadians,
Not good.
all
Just
right.
kidding.
Don't get all.
I know, don't
I'm
get
fine.
all
I'm fine.
butthurt.
I'm fine. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Monday.
You came in too high. We got to knock you
Yeah,
down.
knock me down.
No, but Colt,
Yeah.
thanks for coming in.
Thank you
It's
so much.
Really, really nice to. This was refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a good guy. I can tell that you're working a program and you're God centered, and you know it just made me look at my own life as you were talking, and you know keep myself in check and on track and doing the right stuff because, you know, this shit ain't easy.
No, one day at a time, though.
One
You
day
can
at a
do it.
time.
You can do anything for one day at a time.
Yep.
Anything for 24 hours.
Yep.
Agree.
And life is not as bad as my head tells me it is.
90% of the stuff you're worried about isn't
It's
even going to happen.
Yeah. True.
And you know that.
Yeah, it's a fact.
And so these little, all the sayings, the stuff on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
all those little sayings, they're all true.
I know.
The simplest things are true. You know,
Yeah.
it's better to give than receive.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
You know, and when I slow down, God speeds up, and I am slow, and God has just filled my life.
I like that. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to. Just the fact that that's something I haven't heard, and I think it's something that I really need in my life, is to slow down. And
Think about it. You slow down. Everyone's trying to get to the next place, do the next thing, go here, go there, get, do. Where's God in that?
not.
Right. I need to. I want to. I need to. Well, we're not. It's not even our show.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no college degree, paralyzed on my left side. That was 31 years ago. I've had a career in the financial services business. I have 2 grown daughters. I was married 10 years. That, you know, divorced now. I have a thriving relationship with a beautiful woman today. I have a job that's amazing in the financial services business, and you can't get here from where I was without God. And believe me, I have fallen backwards.
You've tried.
I have
You've tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have fallen backwards into the good life that I have. Literally. I mean, I've done everything I can to not be blessed, and it's just like blessings. And then you face God and you're like, okay, I need help. Boom. And you just get lit up.
Happy for you, brother.
Yeah.
Really, really happy for
I
you.
wish you
Thank you for coming in,
continued-
man.
Yeah. Thank you
thanks,
so
guys.
much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.